Good morning. It's 6:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. No Erin away today. Matt Parker has news coming up in a second or two. If you're a hunter or a fisherman, it's going to cost you more to make your wife angry. Mudbugs, huge game last night. And do the folks in Tangipahoa Parish really want Diamond Jacks? Plus Fletcher and sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour right here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Serious concerns about the future of health care in Louisiana under the budget passed by the House. We asked the Chancellor of LSU Health, Dr. G.E. Ghali, if health care is taking a back seat to TOPS.
Do we feel we're taking a second seat? I feel, constitutionally, our state has an issue with the fact that the only two things you can cut are higher ed and health care. But no, I don't think we're taking a second seat. I think we're taking a bad seat. I think it needs to be fixed to where we don't have to go through this every single year.
Dr. Ghali tells KEEL News this is an embarrassment and is demoralizing to have to fight for funds every year. However, the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee has no desire to approve the budget passed. Villa Platte Senator Eric LaFleur says he can't support a spending plan that would kick 46,000 elderly and disabled people from nursing homes. Adrian Perkins will officially announce his candidacy for mayor this week. Perkins, in a post to Facebook, says that he plans to announce his candidacy and lay out his vision of leadership for the city Thursday. The event, which will be open to the public, will be held at 11:30 a.m. at the Hilton Homewood Suites. The Senate is expected to take a look today at several gambling bills, one of which could decide the future of Diamond Jacks in Bossier City. The Senate will look at a bill that, if passed, would allow Tangipahoa residents to vote on whether or not to accept a casino in the area. Officials with Diamond Jacks have previously expressed interest in moving to the area. The Claiborne Parish Sheriff's Office says that the social media rumor that they have found 4-year-old Rondrese Phillips is false. The office says the search for the boy is still on and any information not provided by them is inaccurate. The Sheriff's Office is offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the recovery of the boy. The House is expected to vote this afternoon on a proposal to raise hunting and fishing license fees in order to pay for state wildlife and fishery expenses. Jeff Palermo has a preview.
Fee increases need 70 votes to get approval on the House floor, and political analyst Bernie Pincinat says that will be difficult.
Nothing's been like that has passed yet. If it does pass, we'd be surprised.
Pincinat says many legislators are hesitant to support an increase in fees to participate in Louisiana's favorite pastime.
Remember, we're now getting very close to the re-election, which is about a year and a half off.
LDWF says the increase is needed to offset a $65 million loss in state funding since 2009. I'm Jeff Palermo.
President Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is facing serious opposition before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The panel may not have enough votes to recommend him for confirmation, as all Democrats and at least one Republican have said they will oppose him in today's vote. The full Senate is expected to consider Pompeo's nomination later this week. And the Mudbugs get revenge on Corpus Christi, closing out the series with a 2-1 win. The Bugs were down by 1 early in the game, but goals by Cam Cook and Ryan Burnett pushed the Bugs into the second round of the NAHL playoffs. Game 1 of the South Division Finals against the Lone Star Brahmas will be at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum Friday night. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Good morning. It's 9 past 6 o'clock. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, starting us off Monday morning traffic. Ruben's here.
Everything's looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Good morning. It's 11 past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin. Erin out today. Today is her depodification. I'll explain that in just a couple of seconds. It sounded icky. I apologize. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Okay, today, since they've been redecorating our house, since the construction guys have been there nigh on 30 days, they started early April. In fact, I think it was April 2 that today, and all her furniture, she had so much work done at the house that they put it all in one of those great big pods units, all her furniture, except for her refrigerator, which is in the living room, I think.
Which will probably stay there, but that's
yeah,
a
I think
different
so. Well,
story.
you got to be close. So they're moving everything back today. They're moving everything out of the pod, and she said she had to be there to oversee that everything goes where it goes. So how are you feeling? How was Foo Fighters last night?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, man, I couldn't trick you. Everybody at the hockey game last night, Mudbugs win. It was a great game, 2-1. They beat Corpus Christi last night. More details later. Here is, you can tell about a man's reputation in the way that people speak of him when he is absent.
Oh, boy.
And the consensus at the hockey game, because Matt does all the sound at the hockey game, and the consensus at the hockey game, as you were, in fact, texting and also on your Facebook page, pictures of your living room. How you feeling? Did you go to Foo Fighters? Because you had talked about you had Foo Fighters tickets for last night.
I did.
And so Matt, to prove to everyone that he's not at Foo Fighters, that he really is home laid up and ill, is sending little not little selfies, but photos of the TV and stuff like that from his sort of an eyewitness view. An eye view from your living room.
Yep.
And everybody thought you had taken those at 2 in the afternoon. And we're just texting them out later in the evening.
I wish.
So are you feeling better? What did you have?
I had strep,
Lord.
severe sinus inflammation, bronchitis, and a few other minor issues.
Well, with all due respect, when you figure that there's no infection that you could have that 4 camels won't take care of, I can see where. So, what did the doctor give you? What did he?
He gave me some antibiotics,
a Z-pack and stuff like that.
A few antibiotics, got a couple of shots, and here we are.
What are you back to? About 40% now?
Probably closer to 55 or 60.
I forgot to mention on Friday because I saw this on Thursday night. Have you ever seen anyone save someone else's life, like in person?
No, I can't say that I have.
My friend John and I, we played golf on Thursday afternoon. And Thursday afternoon after golf, we went to Outback there on Ellerby. Mm-hmm. And we're at the bar, And there was a bunch of people at the bar, and sitting next to us, like we're sitting on the corner of the bar, and then there's a guy here. And for the sake of the story, because he's a really, I could tell even after all the hubbub and hullabaloo, he's the kind of guy that wouldn't want his name mentioned on the radio. So I will refer to, for the sake of the story, refer to him as Worm.
Okay.
Because I was watching Rounders the other afternoon. And if I'd been watching The Godfather, he'd be Sonny, for the sake of the story. So Worm and my friend John and I are sitting at the bar, and we're just kind of, hello, how you doing? Because we're right next to each other. The bar's crowded.
Mm-hmm.
And we are having a beer and a little bite, and John all of a sudden taps me, and he says, look at that lady behind you. And I didn't really, it didn't follow the conversation. So you know how you repeat things in your head sometimes to make them make sense?
Yeah.
So like we're talking about, I don't know, basketball or baseball or golf or something, and all of a sudden he taps me and says, look at that lady behind you. And how do we go from LeBron James to look at that lady behind you? And I'm trying to process this in my beer-soaked mind.
She's not wearing a Cavaliers jersey.
And the point being, there was a woman behind us who was choking.
Wow.
And before I said to John, I said, what? He said, the lady behind you, I think she's choking. Well, before he could get the second sentence out, Worm bounds out of his chair, runs around the corner of the bar, and Heimlichs the lady, and she spits out whatever it was she was eating.
That's awesome that the Heineken maneuver worked.
Well, what did I call it?
No, remember you had that malaprop?
I know, where the guy said, the Heineken maneuver, the lady would have died. So I saw a guy save the woman's life at Outback. It was kind of awesome, and she was elderly. And I guess when you're doing that, you have to be careful, because if she was like 75 or 80, that you could crack a rib or something.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he was just, he bounced up like he was an EMT. It was just, so we bought the guy drinks, and I forgot to mention that on Friday.
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing some of the things people know and can do just at the drop of a hat.
yeah, because I would have sat there and stared. I said, who's going to do something? And that's my person.
Is there a doctor here?
Yeah.
No?
Quick. We've got 2.5 minutes. So, what else was I going to tell you? Oh, I hate Guy Fieri now. You know who Guy Fieri is?
Oh, yeah, Flavor Town.
Yeah, he's a chef / host on Food Network. And
Idiot.
Basically, he's the guy that had a couple of restaurants, and when they do the audition for the next great host on Food Network, like they do on a lot of reality or sort of the nether region channels. No, wait, that's not what I wanted to say. Some of the borderline, some of the channels that not niche channels.
There we go.
What did I say? The nether region channels, the niche channels. Anyway, he's one of those guys like John Madden or Tony Romo, who just comes out of the box and is great on television. And I've always thought he was great on television.
Really?
And he does a show called Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And if you've never seen it, basically he tours the country and does little videos on these little out-of-the-way joints. So if you're traveling to city A, B, or C, you kind of know where to go. And you can live like a local. And he's a very upbeat and happy guy. Hey, this is Guy Fieri. Welcome to Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And so there's one on a couple of nights ago, and it's, hey, Guy Fieri, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And today we're going to Cancun in Mexico, blah, blah, blah. Except when he gets to Cancun in Mexico, and he's around Mexicans, he says, Cancun, like McCarty was there, okay? He's talking to the chef at this restaurant in Cancun, and he calls it Cancun.
Cajun.
Yes, every time. And says Mexico. As opposed to, we're in Cancun, Mexico. He says, we are in Cancun, Mexico. And I'm going, dude, stop.
What a pompous ass.
I just, yes. I mean, it just so annoys me.
I don't want to mention the restaurant because they enjoyed the publicity, but I know some people that own a restaurant that was on that show.
Yeah.
Who said he was the most annoying pain in the ass person they've ever had come through.
Here's a perfect example. How many people do you know around town who call it Key Mexico?
Oh.
Let's have lunch at Key Mexico. No, let's go to Key Mexico. Their stuff is really good. Oh, you mean Key Mexico? Yes.
It's muy bien.
Cancun. Sounded like he was Erin doing Bulgarian.
Oh,
19 past 6 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Have you seen the latest? Have you seen the latest from Bossier Parish and the new rules about school prayer, which they have adopted?
No.
Wait till I tell you. And Ryan Gaddy has introduced, maybe, I got to think about this. Maybe we want to talk to Ryan a little bit later, like after 7 o'clock, because he has introduced in the state Senate a piece of legislation, a measure that is sort of tied to the Bossier deal. But we'll go to break. We'll come back. Traffic and weather just ahead. If you don't know about the rule, no. Well, the rules that Bossier, here's the deal. Do you think that Bossier Parish schools have agreed to these rules under the pressure of the Freedom from Religion Foundation? Do you think their lawyers said, you guys will be a little better off if you follow these rules? Or do you think they said, we think this is the way to go? That's coming up next on Keel, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Old Minden Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight, sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Twenty-two past 6 o'clock, Keel Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mudbugs won deciding Game 5 of their opening playoff series with Corpus Christi 2-1 to advance to the Southern Conference Finals. Playing in front of a raucous crowd of 2,100-plus fans, the Bugs rallied from an early 1-0 hole to win their first playoff series as an NAHL franchise. Cam Cook tied the game 3:23 into the second period, and Ryan Burnett lit the lamp a little over 5 minutes into the final period for the eventual game winner. Jackson Castor, who was pulled during a Game 3 rout and didn't start Game 4 in Corpus, played magnificently between the pipes to earn the win for the Bugs. Next up, defending league champion Lone Star starting Friday on George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum in Game 1 of the conference finals. In college baseball, LSU surrendered a 6-0 lead, giving up 8 unanswered runs to South Carolina in an 8-6 loss Sunday. The Gamecocks rally gave them a sweep of the Tigers, who have dropped 4 in a row and are now 23-17 overall, 9-9 in SEC play. Louisiana Tech swept their road series at Marshall, capping a huge weekend with a 12-3 win. The Bulldogs have scored 10 or more runs in 5 straight and hit .330 as a squad against the Herd. NSU came up short in the series-deciding game Sunday at McNeese State, falling to the Cowboys 4-3. In the NBA playoffs, LeBron and company beat Indiana 104-100, tying that series 2-2. Milwaukee even their series at 2 games apiece with a 104-102 win at home against Boston. San Antonio salvaged a win with a 103-90 win. They still trail 3-1 against Golden State. And the Washington-Toronto series is even at 2 games apiece after the Wizards win 103-98 at home. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, 24 past 6 o'clock, Robert and Erin. School officials, this is from BosierNow.com. But it's evidently the deal that it's the new rules for prayer in Bossier schools.
Mm-hmm.
School officials shall not participate in, offer, or recite prayer, nor bow their heads, kneel, join hands, or otherwise posture in a manner that is likely to be perceived as an endorsement of prayer. Say that again. So here's the new rules for Bossier. School officials shall not participate in, offer, or recite prayer, nor, now, student-led prayer is acceptable. The courts have ruled that student-led prayer you can do that. But the problem, I guess here's the deal, and I'll look it up here in a second. I did a couple of social media posts yesterday in response to a lot of, this isn't right. I said, look, the courts have ruled what the courts have ruled. And I'm only speculating. I don't know. But I would imagine the reason that Bossier is putting these rules into practice is because specifically, and we talked with Mike Johnson about this, specifically because the Freedom from Religion Foundation threatened to sue Bossier Parish schools.
Yep.
And I would imagine because at first they stood up to the Freedom from Religion Foundation and they said, we're going to do things our way, etc. But then, bluntly put, I would imagine that lawyer said, you're going to get killed on this one. Unless you've got an extra $1 million lying around, you might want to change your rules.
Yep.
So, in fact, they have. School officials, this is in the case of student-led prayer. School officials, now understand, if the kids, student-led, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, decide they want to get up and walk out of class because they want to confiscate your guns, then the teachers are more than welcome to take part. They are more than welcome to endorse. They are more than welcome to join hands with the students and walk out of the classroom. But when it comes to prayer, they say no. School officials shall not participate in, offer, or recite prayer, nor, and this is where I have an idea, and I'm going to throw this at you guys in a second or two, nor bow their heads, kneel, join hands, or otherwise posture in a manner that is likely to be perceived as an endorsement of prayer. Now, here's the deal. First of all, if you have a kid in the Bossier Parish school, and the courts have ruled what the courts have ruled, okay? The rules are the rules, and I understand from a legal aspect what Bossier Parish has done. But are there spies in Bossier Parish schools? Is it like what was the Malcolm in the Middle kid, Frankie Muniz? What was his little spy kid movie?
I think it was just called Spy Kid, wasn't it?
Was that it? Are there kids in Bossier Parish schools who are looking out for that and going home and telling their parents, who in turn called it? Yes. Yeah, I mean, in its simplest form, there's anti-God spies in the schools.
I think that's getting a little crazy.
Wait a minute. Walk me through the process. Somebody, in the eyes of the court, illegitimately prayed in school.
Yeah.
Somebody had to complain. They had to complain to their parents, who called the Freedom from Religion Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's exactly what I just said happened.
I wouldn't say that's a spy, though. That's just someone who is offended by the behavior of someone that was in class,
but
who was doing something that they shouldn't have been doing,
according to the courts.
Legally speaking, they are not allowed to do that. And
so here's my idea. We're going to get neck braces. I'm going to start a fund. We're going to get neck braces for Bossier Parish teachers, lest your head accidentally drop down toward your chest at any point and it be mistaken for an act of piety, prayer, and or holiness. We cannot have that. I will more detail. You think this is a good idea?
I think this is ridiculous but hilarious.
I think it's the best idea I've had in a long time, and we will discuss it more as the morning.
Oh, God.
Bossier Parish teachers, I am here for you. 29 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Ruben, traffic update for Monday.
Everything's looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warmer with clouds and sun today, high 72. Turning clear with a low of 54 tonight. Warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Shreveport to get a new candidate for mayor. Adrian Perkins will officially announce his candidacy for mayor this week. Perkins, in a post to Facebook, says that he plans to announce his candidacy and lay out his vision of leadership for the city Thursday. The event, which will be open to the public, will be held at 11:30 a.m. at the Hilton Homewood Suites. The Senate is expected to take a look at several gambling bills, one of which could decide the future of Diamond Jacks in Bossier City. The Senate will look at a bill that, if passed, would allow Tangipahoa residents to vote on whether or not to accept a casino in the area. Officials with Diamond Jacks have previously expressed interest in moving to Tangipahoa. Concern across the state about cuts to health care. Some say the budget passed by the House could shutter the state's safety net hospitals. Chancellor of LSU Health Science Center in Shreveport and Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. G.E. Ghali, tells KEEL News this budget is a disappointment and is demoralizing.
I'm telling you that it's an embarrassment when higher education, or in this case, healthcare, is not supported in the budget at all.
Dr. Ghali tells KEEL News something has to change because it's unacceptable to face drastic cuts to health care and higher ed every year. The chairman of the Senate Finance Committee says he has no desire to approve the budget. The Claiborne Parish Sheriff's Office says that the social media rumor that they have found missing 4-year-old Rondrese Phillips is false. The office says the search for the boy is still on, and any information not provided by them is inaccurate. An LSU med graduate has put out a new supplement that could improve health. Matt Doyle has more on that.
Biome Bliss is aimed at pre-diabetics with the objective of building up healthy bacteria in your gut that helps the body process food more efficiently. New Orleans native and creator Dr. Mark Hyman.
So it does have this immune protection as well as fortify that intestinal barrier.
He says testing at Pennington indicates Biome Bliss feeds microorganisms in your gut that often starve when you try out new, non-balanced diet plans.
The most popular fad diet would benefit greatly from supplementing.
The claims have not yet been reviewed by the FDA. I'm Matt Doyle.
President Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is facing serious opposition before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The panel may not have enough votes to recommend him for confirmation, as all Democrats and at least one Republican have said they will oppose him in today's vote. The full Senate is still expected to consider Pompeo's nomination later this week. Louisiana's health department is offering free testing for sexually transmitted diseases at several parish health units this week. The testing from Tuesday through Thursday aims to promote awareness about the diseases in support of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's STD Awareness Month. And the Mudbugs get revenge on the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, closing out the series with a 2-1 win at home. The Bugs were down by 1 early in the game, but goals by Cam Cook and Ryan Burnett pushed the Bugs into the second round of the NAHL playoffs. Game 1 of the South Division Finals against the Lone Star Brahmas will be at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum Friday night. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker. Yes.
Love the Foo Fighters. No, actually, that's not Foo Fighters.
That's Stone Temple Pilots, but close.
Close. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Mudbugs hockey, big winners last night, Game 5. It was a best-of-5 series against Corpus Christi. And the final score was 2-1, and it was loud and raucous and everything you hoped a Game 5, a deciding game would be.
I was kind of worried, going against the Foo Fighters and everything else, it being a Sunday night. I'm glad it was a great crowd who was into it and super hyped. And
oh my God, it was and I've said this before. Now I'm a Southern guy, and really was not exposed to hockey until I moved up north in the early to mid '70s, till I moved to Philadelphia. And let me tell you, there is nothing sports-wise more intense than playoff hockey. It just, if you are emotionally invested, if it is your team and you are emotionally invested in how that team does, trust me on this, playoff hockey is the most intense because games can turn on a dime.
Yeah.
And the Mudbugs were ahead late in the game, 2-1. And to put it bluntly, they'd given up a couple of late-game goals in the last, 3 times. One was waved off, so 2 recent games.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up losing both of those games in overtime. One of those games was Game 4 to Corpus Christi. When they went to overtime, Mudbugs gave up a goal with about a minute, and I think it was a minute 8 or a minute 10 left in the game. And so when Corpus Christi pulled their goal with about a minute and a half left, it was late in the game, later in the game than they wanted, because the Mudbugs had kept it in the offensive zone. So Corpus pulls their goal, which means they have an extra attacker, an extra skater in the offensive end.
6-on-5.
And it's just a melee down there.
Just slamming the net, trying to get a dirty goal, huh?
It was, exactly. Maybe just throw it in there and try and get a rebound. But the Mudbugs win. The final score last night, 2-1. They win the series 3-2. Now they move on to the Southern Conference Finals against Lone Star, which is Fort Worth. And that begins Friday night, just at game time, 7-11 at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum. In fact, games 1 and 2 are Friday and Saturday this weekend. Then 3 and 4 the following weekend in Fort Worth. And then game 5, if necessary, will be the following Monday night here.
Well, let's hope it's not a Monday night game. Close it out early, guys.
Lone Star is the defending league champion. I know. And they're just they're that team that raises their level. They finished second in the division behind the Mudbugs, but they are the team that raises their play come playoff time.
Old school Broad Street bully style. Just
639, that's where I lived. When Fred Shiro and Bobby Clark and all those guys, nobody saves more than, I can't think of his name. Who was the goalie? Bernie Parent. Only God saves more than Bernie Parent. 639, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time. Ruben's ready.
Looks like I-49 South's got to clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, 642. We had Dr. Jim Henderson Friday morning. He is the president of the University System of Louisiana. And we talked a lot about TOPS and other stuff and just wandered into that whole area that is budget. What story did you have in the news about the budget? What's the latest?
Basically, the Senate, a few of the senators are extremely against it. Let me see if I can pull
the one that
it
came
up.
out of the House?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to, yeah.
Basically, that's the only thing is there's a bunch of Senator Eric LaFleur, he's the head of the Senate Finance Committee. He says he can't support a spending plan that would kick 46,000 elderly and disabled people from nursing homes, as well as cut other programs. There's just a lot of people against it. There's a few Republicans who have a different view. Senator Sharon Hewitt says the legislature should pass the budget just so they have a better idea of where the gaps exist.
Who was it said Friday? It's all part of the process. It's just all part of the process. No matter the fact that nobody seems to like the House budget, it passed. And there were, well, I can't really, hold on. Let me just move on. I'll move back to the budget part after 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Because there were some interesting comments from Raymond Cruz and Alan Seabaugh and others. But I want to focus for the moment on what Dr. Jim Henderson said. We had him on Friday morning. Dr. Jim is the president of the University System of Louisiana. And at one point in the he shared, because, you know, we post the interviews after the show at KEELnews.com. Mm-hmm. And headline was Dr. Jim Henderson, legislature, quote, going to have to raise revenue. He's talking about TOPS now. And what Dr. Jim said when it comes to TOPS, Henderson says a 20% cut, because that was sort of the agreement, the compromise they made coming out of the House. Mm-hmm. When it comes to TOPS, Henderson says a 20% cut is not fulfilling the promise. And let me see if I wrote it down. Yeah, he said, Dr. Jim said, TOPS is a promise that must be fulfilled. So, he had posted the link to that on his, Dr. Jim's, Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some interesting comments, and I wanted to go through a couple of those. I do not understand. This is a comment to Dr. Jim's interview with us. I do not understand why they don't get this. I am so sick of the emphasis on cutting taxes. We need to raise taxes to provide for the people of this state. The infrastructure is collapsing. The education system is in crisis. And the level of poverty is horrific. Are people dense or what? Where does one begin?
There's so many places to start with that.
Okay, let me start with this. I was reading this yesterday. I don't remember exactly where. The infrastructure is collapsing. The education system is in crisis. The level of poverty is horrific. Why this emphasis on cutting taxes? We need to raise taxes to provide for the people of this state. Here in America, since 1970, God, I don't remember, 73 or 77. Let's say 73. In America, since 1973, spending on entitlement programs has increased 250%. And yet, the percentage of poverty remains exactly the same. So you got to ask yourself, is the government that is charged with distributing our monies to the less fortunate, are we as a people insufficiently generous, or is the government insufficiently competent? And I think the reason, when we had, I can't think of it, Scott Hughes, and he said not only in Louisiana, but there is a sentiment of no that is the populist movement that led to Donald Trump.
Yep.
That people, they're not just going to open their wallets just because politicians ask. What I said to Erin, I think it was Thursday morning, I said, is government too big? She said, yes. I said, is big government inefficient? She said, yes. I said, then you're overtaxed. And the interesting thing, and this was the point that was in the article I was reading, it was imprimis, the Hillsdale College thing. And the point the guy made was that, and this is, I would imagine this woman is a very good-hearted liberal. I don't understand why people don't get this. I'm so sick of this emphasis on cutting taxes. We need to raise taxes to provide for the people of this state. If you look at the way government spends money, which is with gross inefficiency, and if you look at the way government spends money with gross inefficiency, I'm collecting my thoughts, I apologize, I was up late, with gross inefficiency, you would think that liberals who claim to be so good-hearted and caring and compassionate would be the most offended by every single dollar that government wastes.
Agreed.
But they don't seem to be. They're the ones who seem to it's more about it makes me feel good to help somebody than the actual competence and efficiency of the programs put in place to help.
I can't argue that.
Now, we'll talk about this more because I was just getting started with this singular Facebook post. 648, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, traffic and weather just ahead.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 westbound near North Market due to construction. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire. High 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
I'm Jennifer Kashinka with Your Money Now.
Good morning, 6:52. Here's KEEL Sports. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mudbugs won deciding Game 5 of their opening playoff series with Corpus Christi 2-1 to advance to the Southern Conference Finals. Playing in front of a raucous crowd of 2,100-plus fans, the Bugs rallied from an early 1-0 hole to win their first playoff series as an NAHL franchise. Cam Cook tied the game 3:23 into the second period, and Ryan Burnett lit the lamp a little over 5 minutes into the final period for the eventual game winner. Jackson Castor, who was pulled during a Game 3 rout and didn't start Game 4 in Corpus, played magnificently between the pipes to earn the win for the Bugs. Next up, defending league champion Lone Star starting Friday on Georges Pond at Hirsch Coliseum in Game 1 of the conference finals. In college baseball, LSU surrendered a 6-0 lead, giving up 8 unanswered runs to South Carolina in an 8-6 loss Sunday. The Gamecocks rally gave them a sweep of the Tigers, who have dropped 4 in a row and are now 23-17 overall, 9-9 in SEC play. Louisiana Tech swept their road series in Marshall, capping a huge weekend with a 12-3 win. The Bulldogs have scored 10 or more runs in 5 straight and hit .330 as a squad against the Herd. NSU came up short in the series-deciding game Sunday at McNeese State, falling to the Cowboys 4-3. In the NBA playoffs, LeBron and company beat Indiana 104-100, tying that series 2-2. Milwaukee even their series at 2 games apiece with a 104-102 win at home against Boston. San Antonio salvaged a win with a 103-90 win. They still trail 3-1 against Golden State. And the Washington-Toronto series is even at 2 games apiece after the Wizards win 103-98 at home. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
More on the budget stuff just after 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Erin is away today, but back on tomorrow's Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Little groggy over here. Late hockey game last night. Mudbugs win 3-2. Did you see the story about the lady? Tell you more about this after 7. It was an international flight. I think she was flying from Paris back to the USA. And I know it was Delta. And on the plane, they gave her an apple in a little plastic bag with the Delta logo on it.
Uh-huh.
And she said, well, this is awesome. I think I'm going to save this for later when I get hungry. And she puts it in her bag. And she's coming through customs, and American Customs finds the apple and fines her $500 for smuggling French fruit into the USA.
Some of the rules.
And literally, she said the story that she told the news people was, that she told media was, she said that the customs official, the American customs official said, was traveling to France expensive. And she said, well, it wasn't cheap. And he said, well, it's about to get even more expensive because I'm fining you $500 for smuggling fruit.
What a jerk.
But they gave it to me on the airplane. 656, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
My friends, scientists are beside themselves with joy. They have accidentally created a mutant enzyme that eats plastic bottles. A couple years ago, scientists discovered the enzyme at a Japanese waste dump. They brought in an international team to tweak it, and voila, the enzyme mutated. The new enzyme takes just a few days to break down plastic. Now, the lead researcher says that thanks to the mutant enzyme, there will not be a need to drill oil to make more plastic, because the plastic we already have can be recycled back into its original components. If that happens, can you imagine the result? Liberals can stop making laws to ban plastic straws in restaurants. Stores can give customers plastic bags again. You can buy bottled water without the environmentalist wackos complaining about what's in landfills. Plastic will be in again. Which is why I have a prediction of my own. It'll never happen. Because liberals don't really want to solve problems. They just want to complain about problems and blame America for problems. Or the last thing they want to do is solve anything, because America can't improve. So just watch. Environmentalists will accuse the new mutant enzyme of causing global warming or wiping out endangered species or hurting polar bears. Mark my words, it will not be marketed as a solution ultimately.
Keel's Top Cop. It's our salute to area law enforcement officers who go above and beyond the call of duty. We want you to send us stories of officers who deserve an extra pat on the back. Maybe an officer changed your tire or spent extra time talking to your youngster. We even want to know about officers who do good deeds while off duty. Let us share these great stories, but we need to know about them. If you want to say thanks to a police officer, deputy, or state trooper, log on to KEELnews.com and click on the Top Cop link. Download the KEEL app on your phone and click on Submit Photo or Video. Then tell us your story. We say thanks with Keel's Top Cop, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
Good morning, 659, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, Fox News just ahead right now. Traffic time. Here's Ruben on Keel.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on North Market near North Hearn Avenue. And we have some traffic delays at the intersection of Westgate Drive and Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
7:03, Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Nope, no Erin today. More on that. She is, the home reconstruction is almost done. She has to be at home to complain. Hang on a couple of seconds. Matt has news in her place. More on the state budget. How's about Tangipahoa Parish? Do they really want Diamond Jacks? Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on Keel.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The House passes a budget that could have a serious impact on the safety net hospitals across the state. Chancellor of LSU Health and Science Center in Shreveport and Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. G.E. Ghali, tells KEEL News the red ink here is critical.
So if you look at our particular case in Shreveport, we have an operating budget just for the Health Science Center, not including the hospital, about $300 to $320 million. Of that, nearly half of that comes from services that we provide, that the residents, the fellows, and the faculty doctors provide at the University Health Hospital.
Dr. Ghali says the budget is a disappointment and is demoralizing. However, the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee says he has no desire to approve the budget. Senator Eric LaFleur says that he can't vote for a budget that adversely affects so many people. Shreveport to get a new candidate for mayor. Adrian Perkins will officially announce his candidacy for mayor this week. Perkins, in a post to Facebook, says that he plans to announce his candidacy and lay out his vision of leadership for the city Thursday. The event, which will be open to the public, will be held at 11:30 a.m. at the Hilton Homewood Suites. A riverboat gambling bill's on deck for Senate consideration today. Michael Ferrara has the story.
The bill would allow Louisiana's 15 water-based casinos to begin expanding on shore. Louisiana Gambling Association Executive Director Wade Duty says passing this bill would generate more revenue for the state.
It would give greater predictability for tax revenue and consistency of jobs and operations.
But Louisiana Family Forum President Gene Mills says the last thing the state needs is more addicts.
Close to 179,000 problem gamblers in the state of Louisiana. There's a high social cost to addictive behavior.
The bill is sponsored by Lake Charles Senator Ronnie Johns. I'm Michael Farrar.
The Senate is also expected to take a look at a bill that could decide the future of Diamond Jacks Casino in Bossier. The bill, if passed, would allow Tangipahoa residents to vote on whether or not to accept a casino in the area. Officials with Diamond Jacks have previously expressed interest in moving to Tangipahoa. A House floor vote is scheduled today on a proposal to raise the cost of a basic resident hunting and fishing license by a few dollars. Wildlife and fisheries officials say the increase is needed to offset a $65 million loss in state funding since 2009. The Mudbugs get revenge on the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, closing out the series with a 2-1 win at home. The Bugs were down by 1 early in the game, but goals by Cam Cook and Ryan Burnett pushed the Bugs into the second round of the NAHL playoffs. Game 1 of the South Division Finals against the Lone Star Brahmas will be held at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum Friday night. Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise is recovering after another round of surgery. Scalise needed additional treatment for wounds he received when he was shot last June by a gunman who opened fire on the Republican congressional baseball team. Scalise will recover at home for a few days before returning back to work. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
9 past 7 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic time. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on North Market near North Hearn Avenue. And we have some traffic delays at the intersection of Westgate Drive and Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Miss Erin away today. Evidently, the home construction is almost done, and the movers or whoever's doing the depotification of Erin's stuff today.
Depotification.
Thank you. Very thought of that myself. They'll be moving all her furniture out of the storage unit back into the house this morning, and I guess she needs to be there to oversee the procedure.
By the way, speaking of that, while I was dead sick Friday, went to the doctors for the first time in like over a decade.
I was going to mention that.
Well,
that the man who has forever, I have seen you drag yourself in here in states of illness. I mean, you're Val Kilmer in the latter scenes of the Wyatt Earp movie. Okay, you're Doc Holliday at the sanitarium in Colorado, just coughing away. And yet, you would drag it in here and you would say, I'm here today because I have never, ever missed a day's work for illness.
Yeah.
Until Friday.
I was that bad off. So, I'm at the doctor's and I get this text from Erin. I thought maybe she was checking on me or something. No, she texted me because she was excited because she bought a new couch.
What?
Yeah. Friday afternoon, she texts me, hey, I just bought a new couch. I'm so happy, and sent me a picture. Like, I care.
Not how are you? Not I've got a fever of 104.
No.
Not I'm like in the emergency room and they're telling me things are wrong with me that I had no idea that were wrong. I
was on my deathbed, and her only concern was her stupid new couch.
Did she go leather?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. We had on Friday morning, Dr. Jim Henderson, we had him on the radio talking about the state budget and TOPS and in fact, he had shared, because we put all the interviews on the Keel page at keelnews.com, and then a link on the Keel Facebook page. He had put up on his own, he had shared the interview. And the headline was, Dr. Jim Henderson, legislature, quoting Dr. Jim, going to have to raise revenue. In this case, when it comes to TOPS, Henderson says, this is sort of the subhead, when it comes to TOPS, Henderson says a 20% cut in TOPS. That's what the House of Representatives agreed on.
Mm-hmm.
A 20% cut is not fulfilling that promise. Now, in addition, what was the Dr. Ghali story from the med school, et cetera, that you had? Because we had him on Friday morning also. And if you pull that up real quick, you can update folks on that, because he's basically, he and Dr. Jim are in the same boat, okay? Mm-hmm. They know what it takes to run their business. They know what they've been getting to run their business. They know that the state writes them a check to pay for the cost of running their business. And I understand when they see that their business expenses are going to get the monies are going to get cut, that they kind of go, hold on a second, it's going to be really hard for me to run my business the way it's been run. Costs ain't going down. Cost of living ain't going down. People need money. Equipment costs more. Insurance isn't making the cost of health care less or education less. How many times have we gone through that sermon?
Yeah.
So I certainly understand their points of view, and we'll get to Dr. Jim's in just a couple of seconds. But we had Dr. Ghali on Friday morning, and you have you had a news story on that.
Yeah, serious concerns about the future of health care in Louisiana under the budget passed by the House. The chancellor of LSU Health, Dr. G.E. Ghali, says that, well, the hospital isn't taking a back seat to TOPS, it's taking a bad seat to TOPS.
That's what he said. Yes, I remember now.
He says that the budget is an embarrassment, and it is demoralizing to have to fight for funding every year.
You mean like a regular guy?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. Look, I understand Dr. Ghali's point of view. I get it. I understand how important it is. But there is, as Scott Hughes said, right now in this country, especially in Louisiana, hell, we'll find out how strong it is, how strong that feeling is April 28th right here in Shreveport when we have all those millage renewals. Oh, those aren't renewals. Look, I don't have time to go down that road yet. But there is such a sentiment, to quote Scott Hughes, a sentiment of no in this country. And people feel that government is not doing a very good job handling their money. They think that things are inefficient. They think things are bloated. They think that things are slow, and I could go on. And that's why people they just look at what the bang for the buck. What did you say during the break a while ago?
Return on investment. There seems to be no return on investment. You know, both Democrats and Republicans have their things, their own little pet projects, if you will. You know, Republicans want TOPS and this and that. Democrats want other things, health care, Medicare, all that sort of stuff. But what they're failing to realize is they're spending so much money on these side projects, we're missing all the important stuff in the middle. We're not covering our basic needs.
Dr. Henderson, legislature going to have to raise revenue. When it comes to TOPS, Henderson says a 20% cut is not fulfilling the promise. Now, he had posted the share on his own Facebook page, and there were a number of comments, including, I do not understand, this young lady writes, I do not understand why they, I assume she means the legislature, the people of Louisiana, me, you, I do not understand why they don't get this. I'm so sick of the emphasis on cutting taxes. Why is there emphasis on cutting taxes? Because self-interest. Is that so bad that business that I get to keep more of my money to buy more stuff so a business owner can keep more of his money to invest in his own business to hire more people? Government taking more money from the population only aids government. I said this last hour. Spending on social programs in this country is up 250% since the 1970s, and yet our percentage of people in poverty is exactly the same. I do not understand why they don't get this, she writes. I'm so sick of this emphasis on cutting taxes. We need to raise taxes to provide for the people of this state. The infrastructure is collapsing. Is that because we're not giving the state enough money? The education system is in crisis. Is that because we are not giving the state enough money? And the level of poverty is horrific. Is that because we are not giving the state enough money? Are people dense, she continues to write, or what? And a number of interesting answers. We need to cut the fat programs that eat up the budget, not raise taxes. Another says, we need a new constitution that ends tax exemptions or tax breaks to the oil and gas industry, Hollywood, and other such folks. We've got to open the budget up for budget cuts. There are so many protections written into our current Constitution. The old Constitution is, this is interesting, The old Constitution is already as heavy with amendments, some of which are old protections. A fresh start is what we probably need. That and the fact that removing these protections is seen by conservatives as raising taxes. And it's already a roadblock to progress. Well, let's not look at it. Oh, we got to go to break. We'll talk about this when we get back.
Sounds good.
I'm not sure that's raising taxes. And we'll talk about it when we get back. I've got to go. We'll be right back with more on that. 19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. We're in about third gear today. Unfortunately, we're going downhill, not up. Traffic update. Here's Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on North Market near North Hearn Avenue. And we have some traffic delays at the intersection of Westgate Drive and Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Twenty-one past 7 o'clock, Keel Sports Time. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mudbugs won deciding Game 5 of their opening playoff series with Corpus Christi 2-1 to advance to the Southern Conference Finals. Playing in front of a raucous crowd of 2,100-plus fans, the Bugs rallied from an early 1-0 hole to win their first playoff series as an NAHL franchise. Cam Cook tied the game 3:23 into the second period, and Ryan Burnett lit the lamp a little over 5 minutes into the final period for the eventual game winner. Jackson Castor, who was pulled during a Game 3 rout and didn't start Game 4 in Corpus, played magnificently between the pipes to earn the win for the Bugs. Next up, defending league champion Lone Star starting Friday on Georges Pond at Hirsch Coliseum in Game 1 of the conference finals. In college baseball, LSU surrendered a 6-0 lead, giving up 8 unanswered runs to South Carolina and an 8-6 loss Sunday. The Gamecocks rally gave them a sweep of the Tigers, who have dropped 4 in a row and are now 23-17 overall, 9-9 in SEC play. Louisiana Tech swept their road series at Marshall, capping a huge weekend with a 12-3 win. The Bulldogs have scored 10 or more runs in 5 straight and hit .330 as a squad against the Herd. NSU came up short in the series-deciding game Sunday at McNeese State, falling to the Cowboys 4-3. In the NBA playoffs, LeBron and company beat Indiana 104-100, tying that series 2-2. Milwaukee even their series at 2 games apiece with a 104-102 win at home against Boston. San Antonio salvaged a win with a 103-90 win. They still trail 3-1 against Golden State. And the Washington-Toronto series is even at 2 games apiece after the Wizards win 103-98 at home. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
See, I sit here and go off and on, off and on, off and on with the switch, and then I get it wrong, and I start talking, and the mic's off.
Yeah.
101.7 FM and 710 Keel, 24 past 7 o'clock. No. Oh, yeah, about the Constitutional Convention thing. Removing protections, i.e. tax breaks, is seen by conservatives as raising taxes. Wait a second. There's a lot of conservatives, a ton of Republicans, who are, in fact, calling for a constitutional convention.
Yeah.
You're not going to find a guy business-wise, money-wise, who's more conservative than Stephen Weigesback, Louisiana Association of Business. Would you, serious question,
Yes.
if there were a constitutional convention and if there were to be as many people, I'm telling you, this is starting to gain a little traction here. If there were a constitutional convention to which delegates from each, I would think, portion of the state, I don't know exactly how they do it, I would think from each legislative district in the state, would you run to be a delegate of the Constitutional Convention?
Absolutely.
I would too.
I would love to do that. Take a look, because we always hear how screwed up things are, but until you're there actually reading it with it in your hands, I don't think we have any concept of how screwed up and how protected and how just...
Honestly, if you ever, and anybody who's done this, and this is going to sound a lot worse than I mean it to be, if you want to know how Baton Rouge, how frustrating and convoluted and crazy and inefficient and fill in the blank state government can be, how inefficient, to repeat all of those again, have you ever been to a home association meeting?
No.
Oh my God, that's how government works. You sit there and you go, and you just run out with anybody that's been to one of those knows that's why only 20 or 25 or 30% of people that live in a neighborhood ever go to those meetings, because they make you crazy. Now, back to the raising revenue, back to the Constitutional Convention, back to a number of things that we've been talking about. And on his Facebook page, here's a comment by Dr. Jim Henderson. Ready? Every dedication amended into the Constitution. Let me back up a second, because he writes up at the very top, my thoughts subject to change, big smiley face. Every dedication amended into the Constitution, and this is something very important to remember, my little input there. Every dedication amended into the Constitution was approved by we the people after a vote of the legislature. Every statutory dedication was voted into existence by the legislature. Each has a constituency. Most have lobbyists, very high-paid lobbyists. Undoing any of them seems far-fetched. In fact, I believe more every day that the Constitutional Convention is a red herring. As the fifth lowest taxed citizenry per capita, state and local taxes as percent of income in America, we are arguing today about reducing our state sales tax by a half a penny. Really? That's with the elimination of a few ill-considered exemptions, and we have solved the problem, at least in the near term. Longer term, we do have a structural issue that may require a limited constitutional convention. Louisiana does far more at the state level. How many times have you and I talked about? How many times have we talked about? What do we do Texas doesn't that we should start? What do we do Texas doesn't we should quit? And the biggest thing repeatedly is Texas state government is so local level. It's local centric, as opposed to Louisiana, which is state government Baton Rouge centric. Back to Dr. Jim. Louisiana, he says, does far more at a state level than just about any other state. I believe a number of responsibilities could be better handled locally and or regionally. That would require state level elected officials relinquishing some power which brings us back to the world of make-believe. Happy Sunday.
Wow. He's probably not wrong. It's going to be like wrestling a gator to get power from those people, but we got to try at least.
29 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update just ahead of Matt with local news. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on North Market near MLK Drive, and we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Shreveport to get a new candidate for mayor. Adrian Perkins will officially announce his candidacy for mayor this week. Perkins, in a post to Facebook, says that he plans to announce his candidacy and lay out his vision of leadership for the city Thursday. The event, which will be open to the public, will be held at 11:30 a.m. at the Hilton Homewood Suites. The Senate is expected to take a look at several gambling bills, one of which could decide the future of Diamond Jacks in Bossier City. The Senate will look at a bill that, if passed, would allow Tangipahoa residents to vote on whether or not to accept a casino in the area. Officials with Diamond Jacks have previously expressed interest in moving to Tangipahoa. Concern across the state about cuts to health care. Some say the budget passed by the House could shutter the state's safety net hospitals. Chancellor of LSU Health Science Center in Shreveport and Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. G.E. Ghali, tells KEEL News this budget is a disappointment and is demoralizing.
I'm telling you that it's an embarrassment when higher education, or in this case, health care, is not supported in the budget at all.
Dr. Ghali tells KEEL News something has to change because it's unacceptable to face drastic cuts to health care and higher ed every year. The chairman of the Senate Finance Committee says he has no desire to approve the budget. The Claiborne Parish Sheriff's Office says that the social media rumor that they have found missing 4-year-old Rondrese Phillips is false. The office says the search for the boy is still on, and any information not provided by them is inaccurate. An LSU med graduate has put out a new supplement that could improve health. Matt Doyle has more on that.
Biome Bliss is aimed at pre-diabetics with the objective of building up healthy bacteria in your gut that helps the body process food more efficiently. New Orleans native and creator Dr. Mark Hyman.
So it does have this immune protection as well as fortify that intestinal barrier.
He says testing at Pennington indicates Biome Bliss feeds microorganisms in your gut that often starve when you try out new, non-balanced diet plans.
The most popular fad diet would benefit greatly from supplementing.
The claims have not yet been reviewed by the FDA. I'm Matt Doyle.
President Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is facing serious opposition before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The panel may not have enough votes to recommend him for confirmation, as all Democrats and at least one Republican have said they will oppose him in today's vote. The full Senate is still expected to consider Pompeo's nomination later this week. Louisiana's health department is offering free testing for sexually transmitted diseases at several parish health units this week. The testing from Tuesday through Thursday aims to promote awareness about the diseases in support of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's STD Awareness Month. and the Mudbugs get revenge on the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, closing out the series with a 2-1 win at home. The Bugs were down by 1 early in the game, but goals by Cam Cook and Ryan Burnett pushed the Bugs into the second round of the NAHL playoffs. Game 1 of the South Division Finals against the Lone Star Brahmas will be at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum Friday night. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Good morning, 7:35. Robert and Erin. Erin away today, back tomorrow. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Cattle Commissioner Mario Chavez is here, but not in the political role. Today, you are just another Southern Hills Neighborhood Association guy.
I'm a cheerleader for Southern Hills.
You said the best neighborhood in Shreveport.
It is the best neighborhood in Southern Hills.
Well, you have a...
Oh, there was a city named Shreveport in there, too, but, this is Southern Hills.
No, I understand. You have an event coming up, and it is the Southern Hills Neighborhood Association.
It's our annual Music in the Hills.
Where is that going to be? So I don't live in Southern Hills. I'm a Southeast Shreveport guy. Can I still go?
Absolutely. It's open to the public. It's absolutely free. We're going to have a bunch of jump things for the kids. The lineup for the music is outrageous. You're going to love it.
You came in, all the info that you sent to Erin. The fellow's name is Robert Finley. And the moment I opened the door here, like 3 or 4 minutes ago, to let you in, you've been talking about this guy Finley. Tell me more. He's the star of your show.
It's going to be so awesome. It's a really cool backstory. He's from Bernice, Louisiana, so he's a hometown boy. And at age 11, his father gave him some money to go into town to buy some shoes. He had a bunch of holy shoes, needed new shoes. Instead of going to get new shoes, he goes to a thrift shop, buys a guitar, walks back home with these holy shoes, and of course couldn't buy new shoes because he spent all his money on guitar. Self-taught himself from learning or from watching the guys at church play the guitar, and now has been playing for 50 years. He's blind, so he can't see, so he gets hyped up from the energy of the crowd, and his music style is just incredible. I can't wait for Southern Hills to hear it.
So like an old school blues guy, like Robert Johnson? Is he acoustic? Is he electric? Is he loud? Tell me more.
He's very loud, and he's got this weird, very loud, really weird twang to his voice, and it's really electric. You're gonna like it. It's acoustic, but you're really gonna like it.
Excellent. So this is coming up when, where? Tell me all about this get together for Southern Hills. Not only for Southern Hills folks, but for folks across
everywhere.
The plain that is Shreveport.
Everywhere. Music in the Park is going to showcase a diverse selection of food, family activities, music. This year's musical lineup is a tribute to the folk, country, rock, and blues musicians that built our area's rich music history. It's this Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. I invite everybody in Shreveport to come out.
Where is it going to be again?
Southern Hills Park.
That's my birthday. What better way to celebrate my birthday?
Absolutely, Robert. They're going to have a local brewery, Great Raft's going to come out.
Tell me about some food and beverages and stuff.
Local and domestics. We're going to have Great Raft. We're going to have Shane's. Shane's is coming out. Kona Ice is coming out. So we have a lot of local vendors, and we have Duval's is coming out, bringing all the jump things for the kids. So a lot of stuff for the kids and for the adults.
This sounds like it's going to be an awesome day, which I'm sure it will be, but there's a bigger picture to this, too, that folks can get to know each other and meet each other and trust each other and be neighbors in the sense, and I mean this in the best way, like the old days?
Well, like I said, Robert, Southern Hills, I believe, is the best neighborhood in Shreveport because that's where you see this come together. You see the homeowner association in Southern Hills really come out and get behind things. They come out across political lines, and they all get together, and they have fun, and they love each other. You'll see them go out there on trash pickups together, all kind of things, and this just extends the friendship and the love of Southern Hills.
Great to see you, my friend. A pleasure as always. You are welcome anytime.
Thanks, Robert.
Mario
Have a great
Chavez, 739, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's traffic. Here's Ruben.
Just received reports of a minor accident on Greenwood Road near Hassett Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warmer with clouds and sun today, high 72. Turning clear with a low of 54 tonight. Warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
What do you think? GoFundMe on my Bossier Parish teacher's idea? They're not allowed to bow their heads in prayer. No, that's not true. They are not allowed not only to bow their heads in prayer, they're literally not allowed to bow their heads lest it be mistaken for prayer. 1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. So I thought the best way is just let's do a GoFundMe account for neck braces for Bossier Parish teachers so that when they have these assemblies, if a kid out of the blue stands up and starts to pray,
I'd like to pray.
Please, because it's your constitutional right. And they start, that the head, if they accidentally bows, it will be sure and it will save the parish. And look, I know the neck braces, what did you say? No cross-stitching on those neck braces. Little pun there.
Yeah.
I think it's an idea whose time has come. We will discuss this after 8 o'clock.
Oh, I hope not.
I think we will discuss this in far more detail just after 8 o'clock. I'm assuming that the reason that the state legislature, I think it was the Senate Finance Committee, that killed the measure that would have legalized sports gambling in Louisiana. I'm assuming for the moment the reason that went down to defeat, I think the final vote was 6-3 in the committee, was because I thought it was a bad idea.
That actually had no bearing on their ruling at all.
Really?
Yeah, they said they don't want to spread, I think the word, I don't have it in front of me, I'm trying to find it. They don't want to further spread the poison of gambling in our state.
Well, that's look, Okay.
The more we expand gambling, the more it poisons the lives of Louisianans.
I'm not sure. I mean, I had my reasons for not wanting sports gaming legalized in the state. I'm not sure that not legalizing sports gaming will do anything to lessen the amount of gambling that takes place.
I know.
You know, there's this big push, and you guys probably read about this, and it was the lessening of regulation in Louisiana on occupational licenses for like florists or hairdressers or any number of which not only required that people give money to the state for a license, but have some degree of training, sometimes a lot of training. And not only do regulations not only does over regulating keep people from being from in many instances taking themselves out of a bad situation, out of poverty. It keeps people from being self-employed. Well, I don't have $250 for a license. Well, where am I going to get X number of hours of training to be a florist when I do it in my garage and I can already do it?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that maybe we need to regulate less. Look, if to be a bookmaker in the state of Louisiana, all you had to be was licensed, and it was kept in the private sector, I'm not sure I'd be against that.
You know, that's an interesting concept. I kind of like it. It's a compromise. We still get legalized sports gaming.
You've got the quote, and I don't know if you want to play the soundbite or not, but I know you can tell us what the quote was and who it was. The guy, when they're talking about moving, well, not only expanding. See, this is moving forward. The idea of land-based casinos is expanding. I mean, this is starting to get a little air here. And the way that one of the legislators explained it, and why he explained why it was a good idea, was it'll give more money to the state. Well, I have said 100 times, maybe 1,000 times, should we as a state, should we as a population, should we as a culture give value to something based on how much money it gives to government? Yeah. And I think that's what government guys say. Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, it was the Louisiana Casino Association Executive Director, Wade Duty, who said that, you know, if this goes through, it would be more profitable for casinos and mean more revenue for the state.
Having these boats on the water does not necessarily lend itself to a good revenue base for the state and also predictable jobs.
I'm just not sure that the purpose of anything, that the sole purpose of any business, the number one purpose of any business is to fund the state. And yet, well, I don't blame the guy, Wayne, whatever his name was, Wayne Duty, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Was dangling that sort of carrot. And, hey, legislators, you'll have more money to run through your bureaucracy to distribute to the people the way you see fit and give you more power if you let us expand our business.
You know, I'm not against gambling. I'm all for it. But I don't know why we ever passed it if we're just going to over-regulate and just try to crush it at every turn. You know, everywhere around us, well, casinos in Shreveport are going down the toilet. That's because everywhere around us is building these mega facilities and these resorts where people actually want to go to, and we got these little dumpy boats that have to be on the water. And it's so ridiculous. We're over-regulating ourselves into submission.
So basically, we have, in your mind, legislatively painted ourselves into such a regulatory corner with not only the gaming industry, but with a number of others. And and I'm sure our boy Wayne there would agree.
Yeah,
I mean, look, it's what good? Where is Samstown? Where is El Dorado? Where is Horseshoe going to put a land-based casino within 1,200 feet or 1,200 feet on the nose from their riverboat licensed location.
So they have to knock everything they already built down to reconstruct something that is probably not going to be much bigger than what they already have.
Which, in less than a minute, what's the latest on Diamond Jacks, the possibility moving to Tangipahoa Parish? Is there going to be a vote of the people? Is it going to be...
Well, that's what they're going to talk about today. On top of this, let's build land-based stuff. They're also going to talk about a bill that would allow residents in Tangipahoa Parish to vote on whether or not they want a casino.
So basically, they have to declare the Tangipahoa River a navigable waterway so the state can grant a riverboat license so that Diamond Jacks can now build a land-based casino within 1,200 feet of the boat that they don't have to build.
Yeah.
Thank you. 749, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's traffic. Here's Ruben on Keel.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on North Market near MLK Drive. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROW.
KeelAccuWeather.com forecast kind of sunny and warm today. High could be up about 70. Right now, 55 at Keel. It is 8 before 8 o'clock, 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Time for sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mudbugs won deciding Game 5 of their opening playoff series with Corpus Christi 2-1 to advance to the Southern Conference Finals. Playing in front of a raucous crowd of 2,100-plus fans, the Bugs rallied from an early 1-0 hole to win their first playoff series as an NAHL franchise. Cam Cook tied the game 3:23 into the second period, and Ryan Burnett lit the lamp a little over 5 minutes into the final period for the eventual game winner. Jackson Castor, who was pulled during a Game 3 rout and didn't start Game 4 in Corpus, played magnificently between the pipes to earn the win for the Bugs. Next up, defending league champion Lone Star starting Friday on George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum in Game 1 of the conference finals. In college baseball, LSU surrendered a 6-0 lead, giving up 8 unanswered runs to South Carolina in an 8-6 loss Sunday. The Gamecocks rally gave them a sweep of the Tigers, who have dropped 4 in a row and are now 23-17 overall, 9-9 in SEC play. Louisiana Tech swept their road series at Marshall, capping a huge weekend with a 12-3 win. The Bulldogs have scored 10 or more runs in 5 straight and hit .330 as a squad against the Herd. NSU came up short in the series-deciding game Sunday at McNeese State, falling to the Cowboys 4-3. In the NBA playoffs, LeBron and company beat Indiana 104-100, tying that series 2-2. Milwaukee even their series at 2 games apiece with a 104-102 win at home against Boston. San Antonio salvaged a win with a 103-90 win. They still trail 3-1 against Golden State. And the Washington-Toronto series is even at 2 games apiece after the Wizards win 103-98 at home. From the Sports Desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.755, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin, if you didn't see this story, it is bureaucracy at its worst. So the lady is on the international flight from Paris to where? New York, I guess?
Let's see here. Paris to Denver.
Okay, so she gets off the plane in Denver. On the flight, they gave her an apple.
Mm-hmm. And a little Delta bag.
In a little Delta bag, a little plastic bag, like a Ziploc bag. And she says, oh, this is awesome because I've got to make a connection. I'm not really hungry now. I'll put my apple in my purse, and I'll have it later. So she goes through customs, and they practically arrest her for trying to smuggle fruit into the USA.
Oh, yeah. Not only did she receive a $500 fine, but she had her global entry revoked and will be searched on every flight for the rest of her life.
So basically they declared her a terrorist for trying to eat her Delta apple later. Yeah. 757, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Hannity.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
You've got the Inspector General and his recommendation, his criminal referral for Andrew McCabe in his case of lying under oath. How many times did we warn James Comey that he should not write this book? It's not going to work out well for him. It's not working out well. I tweeted at him, you do have a reminder, the right to remain silent. I actually tweeted this to him, and I suggest you use it. Anyway, now Jim Comey. The Justice Department is now probing Comey's memos over classified material. This goes to the heart. Those are the memos that he leaked to his Columbia professor friend for the purpose of launching the special counsel with his other buddy, Robert Mueller. In other words, it could have been predicated just on a criminal act itself, which is unbelievable when you look at this on the surface.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-345-2789. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-345-2789. 800-345-2789.
The KEEL VIP Club, brought to you by Titan Factory Direct Housing. Win great prizes just by logging on to KEELnews.com.
Still keeping an eye on that minor accident on Greenwood Road near Jewella Avenue. And we have some traffic delays on McDade Street near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning, 3 past 8 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Erin away today, but back tomorrow. Matt has news in a couple of seconds. Let's see. More on the state budget. More from, maybe or maybe not. The folks in Tangipahoa Parish will get to vote on whether or not they want Diamond Jack's Casino. We have both United States Senators this hour. John Kennedy first, Bill Cassidy at about 8:35 or 8:40. Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on Keel.
The power of information. Keel News now.
Serious concerns about the future of health care in Louisiana under the budget passed by the House. We asked the Chancellor of LSU Health, Dr. G.E. Ghali, if health care is taking a back seat to TOPS.
Do we feel we're taking a second seat? I feel, constitutionally, our state has an issue with the fact that the only two things you can cut are higher ed and health care. But no, I don't think we're taking a second seat. I think we're taking a bad seat. I think it needs to be fixed to where we don't have to go through this every single year.
Dr. Ghali tells KEEL News this is an embarrassment and is demoralizing to have to fight for funds every year. However, the chairman of the Senate Finance Committee has no desire to approve the budget passed. Villa Platte Senator Eric LaFleur says he can't support a spending plan that would kick 46,000 elderly and disabled people from nursing homes. Adrian Perkins will officially announce his candidacy for mayor this week. Perkins, in a post to Facebook, says that he plans to announce his candidacy and lay out his vision of leadership for the city Thursday. The event, which will be open to the public, will be held at 11:30 a.m. at the Hilton Homewood Suites. The Senate is expected to take a look today at several gambling bills, one of which could decide the future of Diamond Jacks in Bossier City. The Senate will look at a bill that, if passed, would allow Tangipahoa residents to vote on whether or not to accept a casino in the area. Officials with Diamond Jacks have previously expressed interest in moving to the area. The Claiborne Parish Sheriff's Office says that the social media rumor that they have found 4-year-old Rondrese Phillips is false. The office says the search for the boy is still on, and any information not provided by them is inaccurate. The Sheriff's Office is offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the recovery of the boy. The House is expected to vote this afternoon on a proposal to raise hunting and fishing license fees in order to pay for state wildlife and fishery expenses. Jeff Palermo has a preview.
Fee increases need 70 votes to get approval on the House floor, and political analyst Bernie Pincinat says that will be difficult.
Nothing's been like that has passed yet. If it does pass, we'd be surprised.
Pincinat says many legislators are hesitant to support an increase in fees to participate in Louisiana's favorite pastime.
Remember, we're now getting very close to the re-election, which is about a year and a half off.
LDWF says the increase is needed to offset a $65 million loss in state funding since 2009. I'm Jeff Palermo.
President Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is facing serious opposition before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The panel may not have enough votes to recommend him for confirmation, as all Democrats and at least one Republican have said they will oppose him in today's vote. The full Senate is expected to consider Pompeo's nomination later this week. And the Mudbugs get revenge on Corpus Christi, closing out the series with a 2-1 win. The Bugs were down by 1 early in the game, but goals by Cam Cook and Ryan Burnett pushed the Bugs into the second round of the NAHL playoffs. Game 1 of the South Division Finals against the Lone Star Brahmas will be at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum Friday night. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Good morning, 9 past 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's traffic.
Just received reports of a minor accident on Norris Ferry Road near Southern Loop. And we have some traffic delays on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warmer with clouds and sun today, high 72. Turning clear with a low of 54 tonight. Warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 11 past 8 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Miss Erin away for today. The depodification of everything she owns takes place as we speak, and she should be living her life on real furniture by noon. Joining us for a little bit is United States Senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy. Hey, Mr. John, how are you this morning?
Fine, Robert. Doing well, man.
I'm looking at the headline. Senator Kennedy fires letters at big banks protesting their post-school shooting firearms policies. And it says here in the article, blah, 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 a couple of the nation's biggest banks, including Citigroup, I believe, are in the Kennedy crosshairs. What let me rephrase, what have they done with their gun policies to kind of rub you the wrong way?
Well, I'm going to do more than fire a couple of letters. Here's what's going on. Citigroup and Bank of America have decided that they're going to make gun policy for the United States of America. Citigroup says it won't do business with anybody who sells guns to people who haven't passed a background check, which violates federal law. Citigroup won't sell a gun to anybody who's under 21, which violates state and local age discrimination laws, and it won't do business with anybody who sells high-capacity magazines. Bank of America says it'll no longer loan money to anybody that manufactures semi-automatic rifles. Now, you may say, well, these folks are in the private sector. They can do what they want. There's just one problem. The very people whose constitutional rights they're stepping on agreed to step up to the plate in 2008 and 2009 and bail Citigroup and Bank of America out. The American taxpayer gave about $476 billion, almost half $1 trillion, to Citigroup to keep them from going broke. Gave Bank of America about $340 billion.
So you had,
and
pardon me, Mr. You said a second ago, I'm going to do more than fire off a couple of letters. You're a United States Senator, but you can't really do. How do you put the pressure on these people to, as you just pointed out, follow the law to be fair? You're going to have to get a couple of other folks to go along with you, right?
Yes, Mike Crapo, who is the chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, and I are talking about legislation. I'm filing a formal complaint with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. I mean, imagine, Robert, if Citigroup announced tomorrow that it would no longer do business with anybody who supports Planned Parenthood. All hell would break loose. Imagine tomorrow if Citigroup announced that we're no longer going to do business with anybody in America who believes in the First Amendment, or who doesn't believe in climate change, or who does believe in climate change.
You know, Mr. John, we've talked about this, and we've had Tom Gresham. He's the host of Gun Talk, nationally syndicated show. It's on KEEL on Sunday. And he's made reference to the Michael Bloomberg, former New York mayor, and the millions and millions and millions that he has pumped into anti-gun groups. There must be a lot of heavyweights, a lot of anti-Second Amendment heavyweights who are leaning on these big banks. What do you think? What do you hear about that?
Well, I think that's true. And look, this is America. You can believe what you want. That's fine. If a bank wants to take a policy like that, that's fine. But you can't come crying to the American taxpayer if you get yourself in trouble. I mean, these gun owners, in part, and I'm one of them, gave Citigroup $476 billion to keep them from going broke. Bank of America, we gave $336 billion, not million, billion. So you can't have it both ways. And if this were just a normal business, saying, hey, we're not going to do business with so-and-so, as long as it doesn't violate the Civil Rights Act of 1964, you can do that. But these banks are different. And I don't think we ought to have red banks and blue banks. That's where we're headed. We're headed to banks that say, well, if you voted for President Trump, we don't want your business. And banks that say, well, if you voted for Secretary Clinton, we don't want your business. I don't want red banks and blue banks. I want safe banks. I want banks that don't come crying to the American taxpayer when they make stupid decisions and get themselves in trouble.
But, John, at the end of the day, do you think that Citibank or any of these other great big banks that are growing more and more powerful by the day, by the way, do you think they really want to be red banks or blue banks, to use your lexicon, to use your phraseology? Or do you think that the pressure being put on them by the media, by the anti-gun groups when they see, the marches and stuff like that, are they just are they folding to the latest political wind?
Well, probably, but that doesn't mean they don't bear responsibility. Look, I try to be a good Methodist. I think the good Lord gave us free will, but with free will goes responsibility. You're responsible for your actions. And I'll tell you this, I have written Governor Edwards and this entire State Bond Commission, Citigroup, and Bank of America have a lot of big old juicy consulting contracts with the people of Louisiana through the state. They make millions off the state of Louisiana. But yet they're going to turn around and condescend and look down their nose at those of us who believe in the Second Amendment. I've asked them to cancel the contracts. I mean, this free will stuff, and you can do what you want within reason on the Constitution swings both ways. If Citigroup says it has a right to do this, we've got a right to say it. Great. On behalf of the taxpayers in Louisiana, the vast majority of whom support the Second Amendment, we're going to cancel your contracts, and I hope Governor Edwards does it.
You know, Mr. John, there's an old political phrase, sort of a sports analogy. If you want to carry the ball, don't be surprised when you get hit. Since you have gone to the United States Senate, you have hardly been a shrinking violet, a wallflower. To the contrary, what kind of, if you give a little peek behind the curtain, what kind of pressure is put on John Kennedy by these lobbying groups, these political groups? To put it bluntly, what kind of threats are made against you? I would assume at every day.
Well, yeah, we're pressured a lot on any issue, and there we look at, I don't know, there are thousands of issues before Congress.
I mean, pardon me, did you have any idea you were such a horrible human being?
Well, I don't live my life based on the expectations of others. I try not to anyway. Look, the lobbyists, it's America. You have the right to petition your government, and they're everywhere. They're kind of like stray dogs. You feed them once, and they come back forever. And I try to be polite and listen, but their position doesn't bother me. I mean, it doesn't. This is not my first rodeo. I've been in government for a while, and I decided early on I was going to be my own person. And I've got one client, people in Louisiana. And if my colleagues get mad at me, or Citigroup gets mad at me, or this other group gets mad at me, they need to call somebody who cares.
United States Senator John Kennedy. Mr. John, a pleasure as always. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks, Robert. Take care, man.
19 past 8 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Dr. Nick Getters, Loving Solutions. Looks like it might be getting ready to open. Do you know what that is? If you don't know, you will find out, and it is kind of awesome. In the meantime, here's Ruben.
Just received reports of a minor accident on Norris Ferry Road near Southern Loop. And we have some traffic delays on I-20 westbound. Starting at Spring and Market, it's backed up past Benton Road right now. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Warmer with clouds and sun today, high 72. Turning clear with a low of 54 tonight. Warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Good morning, 21 past 8 o'clock, time for sports. Here's Fletch on KEEL.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. The Mudbugs won deciding Game 5 of their opening playoff series with Corpus Christi 2-1 to advance to the Southern Conference Finals. Playing in front of a raucous crowd of 2,100-plus fans, the Bugs rallied from an early 1-0 hole to win their first playoff series as an NAHL franchise. Cam Cook tied the game 3:23 into the second period, and Ryan Burnett lit the lamp a little over 5 minutes into the final period for the eventual game winner, Jackson.
The Mudbugs get revenge. A House floor vote is scheduled.
How long have I known you? Like about, what, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years now?
More than that.
You okay? You would think I would remember, since your position is one of such weight, and I mean that seriously. No, don't give me the business card. You know where I'm going. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Dr. Nick Getters is here, the head of pharmacology, toxicology. Wait, tell everybody, do I have a business card in front of me?
No.
Head of pharmacology, toxicology, and neuroscience.
Perfect.
Really?
Yes.
Now, where is it you work once again?
The LSU Health Sciences Center.
Okay. And that's awesome. And the fact that you and I attended the same high school. Well, it was St. John's, then Jesuit, and now Loyola. We are both alumni of that august institution. But you have something new, and if anybody doesn't know, it's called Loving Solutions. And it is a house, a living quarters. No, it literally is a house. You bought a house, man.
House, yes.
For re-entry. It is, for me, it's hard to explain to people what this is because it's not for addicts. Explain to everybody.
Okay, it's for women who have struggled with methamphetamine, who have gotten clean, and it's to provide them a safe environment where they can learn how to live like the rest of us do, where they can have a budget, learn to get up on time, learn how to prepare a resume, learn how to go to work.
Because bluntly put, when they just come out of rehab or wherever, still a lot of people don't, they are either financially, socially, psychologically, I would think, not prepared to be fully immersed into society. Fair enough?
That's exactly right, because I had people send me letters, call me, and say, you know, what do I do when I get out of rehab? What do I do when I get out of jail? I don't want to go back where I was living before, because then I'll start using drugs again. And this is to provide them the opportunity and to show them how to live productive lives again.
Is lovingsolutions.org, if memory serves. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And who freaking raw, and I'm being totally serious, you are, after a lot of hard work and harder work and even harder work, you had sent me an email, or Erin an email, you were getting real close to opening date, yes?
Yes, we hope to open in May. We have just put in a lot of work. We don't have an income stream coming in, but my wife Linda and I have decided we're going to step out in faith, and we trust God to provide.
Pardon me for interrupting.
Okay.
You are a man of such faith and religious strength that you, as you have explained it to me and Erin and any number of people that day we came to your open house, that you just figure it's going to work out and God will show you the way.
I know it's going to work out. I have absolute confidence, and so I have no doubts. I'm not afraid. I don't lose sleep about this. I only want to help these people get better, and through the love of Jesus Christ, we're going to do that.
What made you dedicate your life, other than your regular 60-hour-a-week job, to do this? Of all the things, I mean, it's. I'm not joking. Look, pharmacology, toxicology, neuroscience. That's not a lightweight job. That is very demanding. I would imagine at the end of a day, you think, man, Nick needs a beer, and yet you don't stop there. Why?
Well, you know, when God's Spirit reaches out to you and convicts you to do something, you've got to do it. There's no way I can't not do this. I'll use the double negative.
No, you've explained it that way before.
But it's the absolute truth. I have this spirit of love inside my heart that tells me that no one else is going to do it. And if I don't do it, nobody else will. And it's my calling to do this.
There is one little way that we, coming up on, I guess, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, can lend a hand. And you have gotten me, you said, I got something you can help with Loving Solutions. I said, my God, anything, what? You said, can you play golf with me? And I said, what? I said, of course I will. So you have a golf scramble to benefit Loving Solutions. Tell me about that and where folks can get more information.
That's right. We're going to have it on May 5th at 1 o'clock at the Crooked Hollow Golf Club in Greenwood. And if you want to find out more, just go to lovingsolutions.org. We've got a flyer there. We've got forms for corporate sponsors. And if you want to play, we've got sign-up sheets to play.
There is no better, let me tell you guys this right now, there is no better cause, there is no better thing that you can lend a little time and more than a little money to than this man and his efforts. And as you know, I got Larry Ryan to join me on that day. I'm working on Fletcher and who knows who else. I don't know if Carl Malone plays golf. Maybe Charles Barkley will fly in. How could we go wrong?
That's right.
But listen, it is an awesome thing that you are doing. Continued success, continued good luck. And the website, once again, lovingsolutions.org. Dr. Nick Getters, a pleasure as always. Great to see you.
Thank you, Robert.
29 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Senator Bill Cassidy in just about 10 minutes. Here's Ruben.
We have reports of a minor accident on St. Vincent Avenue near Claiborne Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight, sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Shreveport to get a new candidate for mayor. Adrian Perkins will officially announce his candidacy for mayor this week. Perkins, in a post to Facebook, says that he plans to announce his candidacy and lay out his vision of leadership for the city Thursday. The event, which will be open to the public, will be held at 11:30 a.m. at the Hilton Homewood Suites. The Senate is expected to take a look at several gambling bills, one of which could decide the future of Diamond Jacks in Bossier City. The Senate will look at a bill that, if passed, would allow Tangipahoa residents to vote on whether or not to accept a casino in the area. Officials with Diamond Jacks have previously expressed interest in moving to Tangipahoa. Concern across the state about cuts to health care. Some say the budget passed by the House could shutter the state's safety net hospitals. Chancellor of LSU Health Science Center in Shreveport and Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. G.E. Ghali, tells KEEL News this budget is a disappointment and is demoralizing.
I'm telling you that it's an embarrassment when higher education, or in this case, health care, is not supported in the budget at all.
Dr. Ghali tells KEEL News something has to change because it's unacceptable to face drastic cuts to health care and higher ed every year. The chairman of the Senate Finance Committee says he has no desire to approve the budget. The Claiborne Parish Sheriff's Office says that the social media rumor that they have found missing 4-year-old Rondrese Phillips is false. The office says the search for the boy is still on, and any information not provided by them is inaccurate. An LSU med graduate has put out a new supplement that could improve health. Matt Doyle has more on that.
Biome Bliss is aimed at pre-diabetics with the objective of building up healthy bacteria in your gut that helps the body process food more efficiently. New Orleans native and creator Dr. Mark Hyman.
So it does have this immune protection as well as fortify that intestinal barrier.
He says testing at Pennington indicates Biome Bliss feeds microorganisms in your gut that often starve when you try out new, non-balanced diet plans.
The most popular fad diet would benefit greatly from supplementing.
The claims have not yet been reviewed by the FDA. I'm Matt Doyle.
President Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is facing serious opposition before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. The panel may not have enough votes to recommend him for confirmation, as all Democrats and at least one Republican have said they will oppose him in today's vote. The full Senate is still expected to consider Pompeo's nomination later this week. Louisiana's health department is offering free testing for sexually transmitted diseases at several parish health units this week. The testing, from Tuesday through Thursday, aims to promote awareness about the diseases in support of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's STD Awareness Month. And the Mudbugs get revenge on the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, closing out the series with a 2-1 win at home. The Bugs were down by 1 early in the game, but goals by Cam Cook and Ryan Burnett pushed the Bugs into the second round of the NAHL playoffs. Game 1 of the South Division Finals against the Lone Star Brahmas will be at George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum Friday night. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
.836, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Not a ton of time here because Senator Bill Cassidy will be with us in a second. You seemed intrigued when Dr. Nick Getters was here. LovingSolutions.org, by the way. I that kind of energy just, it amazes me.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. Just, well, I'm going to help these people. Consequences be damned. God will provide. We'll figure it out as we go. But
yeah,
these people need help. I'm diving in.
How powerful is that? How impressive is that? No. And why do you do this? Because if I don't, nobody else will. The old Ronald Reagan line, if not us, who? If not now, when? But you seemed intrigued when I asked Nick. I said, because he is bearded, I said, when's the last time you were clean-shaven? He said more than 25 years or something like that. And I told you about my friend Neil, who had a beard like, he was that kid that had what I call the John Lennon beard that comes in up like right under his eyes, like Mexican wolf boy stuff, right? And he and his wife Cheryl, they'd known each other since high school. They dated all through high school and then 4 years of college, and they got married and they had a couple of kids. And so she's known him for 20 years, and he's always had this Mexican wolf boy beard. And he shaves one day. And she comes home from work and he's shaven. And she panics. She made him move out. That's wild. Literally, I don't recognize you. I don't know who you are.
Who are you, and what the hell did you do with my husband?
You must leave. Now, luckily for him, he had the kind of beard that would like grow in enough where he was, he looked totally different in 72 hours.
Like Sam Elliott or somebody.
So he got to come home. But he was like, What am I going to do, man? They had a great marriage, except who knew it was all centered around facial hair? Mike Eccles, who does the hooking up, track 'em down show on KWKH. He's got a mustache. I said, when's the last time you were clean shaven? That's my sort of question du jour to people with facial hair. And he said, probably 30 or 35 years. I went, oh my gosh.
I can't imagine going that long without a shave.
I just no. Well, with me, because it's like Snow White, and I start to look like Santa Claus' bulimic brother. 839, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Dr. Bill Cassidy, Senator Bill Cassidy is up next. Here's Ruben, traffic update on Keel.
The intersection at Kings Highway and Line Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now, and we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight, sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
.1017 FM and 710 Keel. Robert and Erin. Miss Erin away today. She is, as I had mentioned, depodifying her home. The home reconstruction seems to be about complete. She gets her furniture back today. No, Matt thinks it's going to make her sane. Trust me, it won't. United States Senator Bill Cassidy is here for a little bit. Hey, Dr. Bill, how are you this morning?
I'm great, Robert. How are you?
Well, I am looking, you and I, we don't know each other well, but we have spent time together on the radio, and you've probably figured out I'm not the most wonkish-oriented guy there is. And we got a couple of emails from your folks, and why don't you, rather than me mess it up, why don't you explain to folks about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act and why that will be beneficial to Louisianans, especially on the energy front?
It's going to be beneficial to Louisiana on multiple fronts. But on the energy front, on the Entergy, if your utility is Entergy, or probably any other utility, you're about to get a break on your monthly bill. When taxes are put upon a utility company, they pass those taxes to the consumer. When their tax rate is cut, there's less of a tax passed to the consumer. And indeed, if they paid tax in the past and now they have a tax cut, they will refund money to the consumer. So it's a way for the consumer to win indirectly, added to the direct benefits that most folks are getting from having less money taken out of their paycheck.
Now, I don't know this for sure, but I would bet the Dems are against this. The Democrats are against this. Are they? Is my little detective work correct?
Absolutely. Pelosi and Schumer want to repeal it. They want you and me to pay higher taxes. They're mad as heck that we are paying lower taxes. Oh, my gosh, less power for the government, more for the people. They're opposed. And so, yes, Schumer, Pelosi, and others are leading the charge.
You know, I want to talk a little bit about, and I saw this a couple of sources, that former Saints star Steve Gleason, who is battling amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, you are starting a push. In fact, you have proposed legislation. Well, you know more about it than me. You fill in the holes.
Hey, if you're a Saints fan and you remember Steve Gleason, there's a statue of him in front of the Superdome. He blocked the punt against Atlanta. First game back after Katrina. The punt rolls into the end zone. Somebody recovers. The Saints go on to win the game. Superhero. On the other hand, we're not honoring him for that. The guy came down with Lou Gehrig's disease, and he knew he was going to lose his voice. He knew that he would eventually be bound to a wheelchair, and both have happened. You walk in the room thinking, oh, my gosh, I'm going to feel sorry for the guy, and you walk out thinking, what a fantastic life. Let me do something for others.
Well, yeah, he started his own foundation, right?
Own foundation, but he knew he was going to lose his voice, so he recorded his voice. And because he's from Washington State and he got some attention as a football player, Microsoft came in, created hardware and software so that if he looks at a keyboard, he can blink his eyes, and it goes into a database of his recorded voice, and he ends up talking to you with his recorded voice. Now, we got Vitter First and me were able in getting legislation through so that if somebody is on Medicare and they have the same problem, they have access to that Microsoft hardware and software. Tremendous advocate for those with ALS, tremendous advocate for disabled. We're going to try and get him the Congressional Gold Medal to honor him for that. Now, he's a great football player. There's a lot of those. He's a great advocate for our fellow Americans who have terrible disabilities. Wonderful guy.
You know, I had spoken, we had Senator John Kennedy on earlier this hour, and we were talking a little bit about gun control and some of the lobbying groups, et cetera, and basically the way I phrased the question was, since you arrived at the U.S. Senate, you, Mr. John, and for that matter, you too, Dr. Bill Cassidy, you have hardly been shrinking violets or wallflowers when it comes to making your ideas known, to starting legislative balls rolling. Did you have any idea that, and the way I phrased it to Mr. John was, did you know you were such a horrible person? And the point being, what kind of pressure are you under daily from lobbying groups, other legislative groups, anti-gun groups, the list, pro-abortion groups? It must never seem to stop.
That's okay. You sign up for this job, then you're going to represent the people of Louisiana, and you're going to represent a certain set of values of the people of the United States. And I welcome that. If folks want to get into a kind of, okay, we oppose the Second Amendment, I support the Second Amendment, bring it on. If somebody wants to say, as a physician, I can speak to the life which begins in the womb. If somebody wants to deny that, I say bring it on. Robert, I was elected to represent the people of Louisiana and values of those in the United States. And I will do so aggressively because I think those are the values that have made our country great.
U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy. Dr. Bill, a pleasure as always. Thank you for your time, and keep up the good work, man. My pleasure as always.
Thanks, Robert.
848, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Your Money Now and the American Ground Morning Minute. Just ahead, traffic and weather updates, too, here on KEEL. It's 8:49. It's 101.7 FM and 710 Keel traffic update time right now. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Kings Highway and Line Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight. Sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Right now, 59 degrees, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Don't forget Moon Griffon coming up just after 9, about 9:06, right after Fox News.
You're listening to American Ground Radio's Morning Minute.
In a new Gallup poll, people were asked, what's the biggest problem facing America today? 23% of responders said the biggest problem is government.
That's because government cannot fix all things for us. Government cannot make us feel content or feel respected or accepted. It can't confer achievement upon us. It can't build our self-esteem or eliminate life's inevitable ups and downs.
As President Ronald Reagan said, government is not the solution to our problems. Government is the problem.
American Ground Radio, where building a better America begins with building a better us. Return each weeknight from 6 to 7 p.m. with Louis R. Avalone and Stephen Parr on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel and streaming live at keelnews.com.
Hey, Robert and Erin here once again for Twin City Appliance. They're online at twincityappliance.com. Wait, Erin's not here. She's home cleaning up her appliances. Saved thousands. See, she is in the midst of this massive remodeling project. And I know we've talked about this before, but she really thought about new appliances. And then she realized, wait a second, there's nothing wrong with my appliances that Twin City can't take care of, make them as good as new. And I will save thousands of dollars, literally, that I can put into things like, leather sofas, if I get Twin City Appliance to take a look. It's what they do. They repair appliances. They get them working as good as new. They're a professional appliance service company. That's all they do is repair appliances of all costs, top-notch, like Sub-Zero or Decor, Wild, Marvel, Uline. No matter what you paid for your refrigerator or stove or oven or microwave, if it ain't working right, Twin City can take care. Give them a call today, 318-688 0253, or find out all about Twin City Appliance online now, twincityappliance.com. So how was the Foo Fighters?
I wouldn't know.
Still can't trick you. 101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. It's 8:55. You had tickets for Foo Fighters last night. You didn't go there. You didn't go to the Mudbugs game where you do all the sound and stuff. Mudbugs won last night. The final was 2-1. God, that was intense.
So you told me.
I was freaking out.
The only updates I got all evening
were from me.
Were from you about the game, and then Greg, the afternoon guy here on Keel, texted me a couple of times about how awesome the Foo Fighters were.
Yeah.
That's literally my connection to the outside world.
It was playoff hockey, man, and I've told people this before. If you are emotionally invested in any team, but if you are emotionally invested in a team and it's a hockey team, there is nothing that will grind and make you tense and make you crazy more than playoff hockey. That's just how it works.
And even if you're not a fan, if you go to a playoff game, you will be a fan because the energy just sucks you in. It's so awesome.
So now the Mudbugs go to round two, the Southern Conference Finals against Lone Star, Fort Worth. That opens up here, George's Pond at Hirsch Coliseum this weekend. Games Friday and Saturday nights.
Be there.
Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9. God, it seems like not that far away. Right now, here comes Kim Commando on Keel.
I've spoken many times about how the technology we allow into our lives, based on its promise to bring us together, has actually done quite the opposite. Kim Commando with your Monday Consumer Tech Update. YouTube and especially Facebook are the clearest examples of what technology promised and what it actually gave us. Still being hyped under the guise of uniting us, they have been used more to divide and isolate us than perhaps any force in history. And now the latest study on our smartphones. Researchers at San Francisco State University agree that not everyone will succumb to smartphone addiction, but of the tens of millions who have, the result is as bad as the opioid dependency that is sweeping America. Addicts experience sharp increases of loneliness and isolation, worsening anxiety and depression. Smartphone addiction is no different than any other kind of substance abuse. We believe they're safe, that they will bring us closer, but they don't. I'm Kim Commando. I've got some big dinner plans for my family coming this week, and it doesn't involve restaurants or takeout or even grocery shopping. Here on the Kim Commando Show each week, I tell you all about simple recipes, gourmet touches and flavors, delivered right to your door with garden-fresh, pre-measured ingredients. Just go to HelloFresh.com, choose from a variety of recipes across veggie, classic, and family plans. Then your meals arrive with easy-to-follow full-color instructions. With HelloFresh, you'll whip up dinner in just 30 minutes or less. And there are lots of one-pot recipes for speedy cooking and minimal cleanup after a busy day. After 2 or 3 weeks of HelloFresh, you'll love your new dinner routine. I know I do, because of how simple and fun it is to cook and enjoy delicious home-cooked meals. For a limited time, get $30 off your first box at HelloFresh.com/Kim, plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/Kim for $30 off your first order. at lowfresh.com/Kim.
The intersection at Kings Highway and Line Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near East Texas Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, clouds and sun with a warmer high of 72 today, then becoming clear, low 54 tonight, sunny and warmer, high 80 tomorrow. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.